Hi everyone, and welcome to the Ari Writer channel. My name is Ari, and today I'd like to talk about the flower of life. This is a symbol that's really meaningful to me. I actually have it as part of my tattoo, and I showed that in my previous Triforce video, but here's another preview of my tattoo. And you can see that the flower of life is a really special symbol. It's the exact opposite of the Triforce. The Triforce basically contains only straight lines, and basically represents the second and third dimensions in their simplest forms. The second dimension is typically a flat plane, and the third dimension is a pyramid in its simplest form. But of course, the Triforce is close enough to that, and it represents a lot about who we are and what we can do with power, wisdom, courage, and the end result, which I like to make love. So, that actually sounded funny. I just realized what I said. Anyway, the flower of life is really special because it doesn't have any straight lines. All of its lines are curves that meet at a central focal point, which is typically the center of the flower part itself. And then they basically branch out. And then their curvature will eventually line itself up with another flower, and therefore these flowers are basically connected and intertwined with each other. Basically the same focal point will share petals, so to speak, with other flowers. And so it's really, really cool. When you initially look at it, it's basically an optical illusion because you can either see the focal points and the shapes that they create, or if you stare at the center of the flowers, you can see the flowers and how there's basically many of them and how they're connected to each other. And the flowers themselves, oddly enough, are actually surrounded by circles, so to speak, and the opposite inflection. And so this symbol is, like I said, the opposite of the Triforce, and it means a lot. And in many different religions and philosophies, it essentially represents the unity of all life and the interconnectedness of all beings. It can also be a symbol of life, death, and rebirth, and it's also a symbolic union, interestingly enough, of male and female components. They call it the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. A little bit very polarizing there, but we can see elements of the sword and the chalice, for example, in the flower of life. So it's a really cool symbol. As I said, and as I showed you guys in my last video, and I'm showing you guys now, of course, the flower of life is a part of my tattoo. It's basically the base of the Triforce. It basically comes first and is also the end result, so it's kind of like beginning and end in very polarizing ways. And basically the Triforce is drawn in the middle of it to symbolize that the Triforce is an aspect of the flower of life in its opposite sense, and it almost represents the journey compared to the fundamental beginning and end. And of course the flower of life also contains the middle within it, hence the Triforce is inside of it, but you don't really see that because you don't see any straight lines in the flower of life. So the symbolicness is and the symbolicism is really, really interesting to me. So I just wanted to share this with you all, and I hope you guys enjoy these videos that talk about different kinds of symbols and things that I think can really help people. And one of my next videos is actually going to talk about something that is still connected to the Triforce and the flower of life. I'm not quite done yet. And it has to do with chakras, because if you look at the focal points of the flowers in the flower of life, and basically if you look at the center of basically the symbol itself, it doesn't really end, but we obviously have to cap it off in order to, see it in just one instance. If you look at the center, basically it forms a line in the center of focal points, and starting from the bottom is the root chakra, and then we go up to sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And then the circle surrounding the flower of life can also represent the electromagnetic field. So I'll definitely talk about that in more detail next time, but meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good one. Take care.